Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with the powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video, I am continuing my top 100 board games in our collection list. We are getting closer and closer to my top 10. Hope you guys have been enjoying this content. If you missed out on my latest video where I talked about games ranked 40 through 31st, I'll go ahead and link that right here somewhere in this top corner. You can check that out and be all caught up, because today I'm going over games 30th through 21st in our collection. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right off into today's video, starting off with game number 30. This game is going to be new to the list this year, but we've played this game, the original version of this game, a whole lot. And game number 30 is going to be Santorini, the Pantheon Collector's Edition. This is a board game for 2 to 4 players, ages 8+, right around 20 minutes per playthrough. And this one is published by Roxley Games. And the Santorini Pantheon Collector's Edition is basically like a deluxeified, remastered version of the board game Santorini. If you guys are not familiar with that, basically you are using your divine influence to move a worker or workers around a board to build a city. In this case, you're working on building buildings that match the city of Santorini, and your goal is to get one of your workers to a 3rd level on top of a 3rd piece. And so how this works is simply there's 2 things you do in a turn. You move your worker to an adjacent spot, and then you build a piece in an adjacent spot. And you're either going to build a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3 piece. And then they also have domes, which will kind of complete that classic Santorini look. And so that's a way to kind of block your opponents. But in this edition of the game, guys, like I mentioned, this is kind of like deluxeified, remastered version. All the components are upgraded. The artwork is upgraded. It's got a bigger or better looking table presence than the original Santorini does. There's like this 3D island board. There's a Lazy Susan. You can have all the building pieces are a little bit sharper and crisper. There's acrylic tokens, the deluxeified tokens here as well. The gods, some of the god cards in the game are updated because the main way you play Santorini is you are going to deal each player a god, and this is a Greek god, and they are going to manipulate the way you play that game of move and then build with my worker. And so there's an abundance of god. I believe there's over 100 different gods in this version of the game. Some are updated. They put some of the god powers on the back so you can read them, what they do as well. But all in all, just a great deluxeified, remastered version of a classic game. Santorini, the Pantheon Collector's Edition, my 30th favorite board game in our collection. Okay, guys, moving on to game number 29. This was 33rd on the list last year, so this has jumped 4 spots. And this board game is going to be Botany, all right? Botany is a board game for 1 to 5 players, ages 8+, right around 45 to 90 minutes per playthrough. And this one is published by Abducktion Games. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But Botany is a flower. You are a botanist and you're going on a flower hunting journey. This is a Victorian era style game. I love the theme here, and like I said, you are a plant hunter. The board is basically the entire world, and so you're going around to different cities and different countries and things like that with plant cards in your hand to try and collect these plants to earn victory points. And so while this sounds like a silly or a theme that I would not necessarily enjoy, I really love the Victorian style way that they go about this with the look and the cards and everything. And there's events that pop up. You'll like draw an event card that can have and that can alter like kind of how your turn plays. You can collect like item cards and stuff like that that'll help boost your hunting abilities, right? But expeditions is the main way. You're going on an expedition, collecting all these different flowers. And then what's unique as well is, like, I love this. It's almost like a push your luck mechanic where you have to spend gold to maintain your expedition. So while you are out in the world, you're gonna have to spend a gold a turn in order to continue to fund this expedition. And so if you run out of gold while you're out there, there's going to be a type of penalty. And so it's this cool push your luck style feel where it's like, okay, how much gold do I have? Where are the cities that I need to go to? Okay, can I get to all these cities and then get back to my home base area, right, in order to get all these plants in at the same time? And so there's some turns where you cut it really close, and there's some turns where you're like, oh man, I could have stayed out there and got everything I want. But I love, love, love the theme and the mechanics of this one. This is my 29th favorite board game in our collection, Botany. All right, guys, moving on to game number 28. This one was 25th on the list last year, so this is only down 3 spots, so that's not that bad. And this one is going to be Dreadful Meadows. Dreadful Meadows is a board game for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 plus, right around 45 plus minutes per playthrough. And this one is published by Arcus Games. Dreadful Meadows is a cool, unique Halloween style game where you are taking on the role of a candy connoisseur in this town, and you're gonna use some sugar sprites to make and generate all this candy, like gelatinous glue and some eyeballs and things like that. And it's just like a cool, engine building is the wrong word, tableau building is the wrong word, but essentially how it works is you guys are going to be buying these tiles, which are going to be generating this candy, and you are building out your own little ranch or garden area of these different tiles. And so you're going to be going around using these sugar sprites to harvest and basically create and grow some of this candy. So it's a really unique, really awesome game. There's asymmetric characters that have their own abilities that are going to spice things up. But I really, really enjoy the colors of this one and the theme of it. A fun Halloween style game. My 28th favorite board game in our collection is Dreadful Meadows. Okay, guys, moving on to game number 27. This was 12th on the list last year, so this one has dropped 15 spots, and this one is going to be Lords of Ragnarok, okay? Lords of Ragnarok is a board game for 1 to 4 players. It's gonna be right around 90 to 150 minutes per playthrough. I believe its ages like 14 plus, somewhere in that range. I do not have the game with me right now. But this is a area control style game where you're going to be taking on the role of a Norse hero, and you're going to be going around, you're going to have your army and your units. And what's cool about Lords of Ragnarok than most area control games is it's not necessarily about all area control. There are multiple win conditions to this game, and so you can win by that area control. You can build these temples and erect temples, and you can win by doing that. Or there's going to be monsters that you can hunt throughout the course of the game, and you can hunt these monsters and then end up fighting Loki. And if you manage to defeat Loki, you can win the game that way as well. But this is a bigger production, a bigger box production here with Lords of Ragnarok. But for me, again, I think the reason why it's dropped so much is just haven't been able to play it. This is really a game. There's a 2-player variant to the game, but I don't really like the 2-player variant. I think this works more at that 3 or 4 player player count. And so because of that, I just really haven't got it to the table. I don't think I've got it to the table at all within the past year, but I still really enjoy the theme. I enjoy the look of the game. The production value, of course, is coming to you from Awakened Realms, is top notch. But my 27th favorite board game in our collection is Lords of Ragnarok. All right, guys, moving on to game number 26. This one is new to the collection this year, and this is going to be Perch. All right, Perch is a board game for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 plus, right around 45 to 60 minutes per playthrough. And this one is published by Inside Up Games, the same people that brought you Earth. I really enjoy Perch. Perch is a area control style game where you're going to have these tiles out and you are going to have your flock of birds, and on your turn you're going to draw some birds from a bag, and it can be your birds, it can be opponent's birds. And so it's this cool theme of again, it's area control. You're placing these birds out on these tiles. Sometimes it's not about having the most birds. And so more likely than not, though, if you have the most birds on there, you'll score the most points. Then sometimes it necessarily won't be the case. So I love this mechanic of you being able to draw and place your own birds and then draw and place your opponent's birds. And it kind of helps shift things out rather than you just placing your birds around the whole time. It has a lot of strategy to it. What's also really cool is when you play this game, they are going to be unique animals that you are going to encounter that you can take control of that are going to disperse some of the birds that are on these particular tiles. So like you can take control of a dog and a cat and things like that, and they're going to have their own asymmetric ability, and so you can use them on your turn if you have control of them to kind of shift the balance of power between all these tiles. But I really love this one. I love the ceramic plastic birds. You can stack them on top of each other, but I think this is just a awesome entry-level area control style game, and I really enjoy this one. So my 26th favorite board game in the collection is Perch. Okay guys, moving on to game number 25. This one is new to the list as well, and this one is going to be Abducktion. All right, Abducktion is a board game for 1 to 4 players, right around ages 12 plus, right around 15 to 25 minutes per playthrough, and this one is published by Very Special Games. Abducktion is a fun, cute little game about kidnapping ducks, and so you're gonna have this little player board. There's gonna be 10 ducks on your board, and there's gonna be some scoring cards out there, and you are creating patterns with the different colors and of the different ducks, and so they're going to be circled out like 5 on top, 5 on the bottom, and you're going to be playing cards from your hand that are going to be able to manipulate the ducks on your player board, manipulate the ducks on other player boards. You'll be able to draw ducks from a UFO. There's like a little plastic, well, plastic is the wrong word, rubbery UFO, which is hilarious. And yeah, that's the whole purpose of the game. Is there's scoring condition cards. You're manipulating these ducks around to match those scoring condition cards, and then once you do, you get to claim that scoring condition card, which is obviously gonna have victory points. But this one is so simple and so easy to teach and so fun. Just a very unique game that is very approachable, and a lot of people who don't necessarily like board games are going to really enjoy Abducktion, I think. But fell in love with this one as soon as we played it the very first time. Played it a bunch of times since. My 25th favorite board game in our collection is Abducktion. Okay guys, moving on to game number 24. This was 22nd on the list last year, so this one is only down 2 spots, so right kind of in that same range, and this one is going to be Flamecraft. All right, Flamecraft is a board game for 1 to 5 players, ages 10 plus, right around 60 minutes per playthrough, and this one is published by Cardboard Alchemy. Flamecraft is another cute board game where you are a dragon, you're a dragon trainer, right? And you're placing all these different dragons at these particular shops, and these dragons are gonna do something. Like you have bread dragons and diamond dragons and leaf dragons, and you're basically going to be gaining resources, turning these resources in to create different recipes and things like that, which is going to net you victory points. And so I really love how, while this game looks like a lot, I love how simple it is in terms of like all these dragons are going to do essentially the same thing. So all the bread dragons do the same effect, all the leaf dragons do the same effect, all the diamond dragons do the same effect. So it helps it make it very teachable when you play this one. And yeah, you're playing these dragons to different shops. These shops are going to have effects as well, but this is a very cute, I love the artwork here with this game. Another very approachable, this is probably like, I would say, my very first entry level medium weight size game for me, I would consider, with Flamecraft. But my 24th favorite board game in our collection is Flamecraft. All right, guys, moving on to game number 23. This was 7th on the list last year, so this one is out of my top 10 now, and this board game is going to be Chai. All right, Chai is a board game for 1 to 5 players, ages 8 plus, right around 20 to 60 minutes per playthrough, and this one is published by Steeped Games. Chai is a board game about making tea, and so you're taking on the role of this merchant. You're going to be gaining these resources, use these resources to craft or to serve customers, and then basically those customers are going to serve you points. And so there's little teacups around that you're going to put these ingredients in, saying that you made the tea for this customer. But this is a very cozy style feel game. I think this one one has been knocked out of my top 10 because there's some other great games that have come into our collection that I really enjoy, and just really haven't played this one a whole lot. So I think it's as simple as that as to why this one has fell so much for me. Just haven't really gotten to the table a whole lot. And there's some more games that are probably in my thematic style range that I enjoy a lot better. So my 23rd favorite board game in our collection is Chai. Okay guys, moving on to game number 22 in the list. This was 24th last year, so this one is up 2 spots, and this one is going to be, let me grab this. This is going to be Sansoucci, okay? Sansoucci is a board game for 2 to 4 players, ages 8+, right around 40 minutes per playthrough, and this one is brought to you by Imperial Publishing Games. Michael Kiesling is the designer here. He's also the designer of Azul, and this was kind of dubbed as the Azul Killer. And for me, I really enjoy this one a whole lot better than Azul. This mix for me is a great mix of Carcassonne and Azul, where you're having this player board. You are basically remodeling King Frederick's garden, okay? And so you're gonna have a card, you're gonna have 2 cards in your hand. Those cards are gonna match some of the different tiles that are on the board for you to select. You play that card, and depending on where that tile is in the row, there'll be a colored row on the board, and then on your own player board is where you're gonna be able to place that tile. And so it's got that tile placement, it's got that Azul feel where you're trying to match different patterns and things like that. And these guards, you'll have guards at the top. At the end of your turn, you can move these guards down all the spots that have tiles in order to score victory points. And so it's kind of like the guards are inspecting your work, right? But this one is easy to teach, super simple, but it's got a lot of strategy to it. I really, really enjoy this one as like a classic old school board game vibe. But my 22nd favorite board game in our collection is Sanssouci. All right, guys, we have made it to the end of another list, the very last game on today's list, my 21st favorite board game in our collection. This one was 11th last year, so this has dropped by 10 spots, and this one is going to be the juggernaut known as Unsettled here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, Unsettled is a board game. I don't even think it says it on the front, or I think I gotta look at the back of the box here. Give me a sec. Yeah, this is a board game for 2 to 4 players, ages 14+, right around 15 to 30 minutes per player. I would say it's more of that 30-minute per player mark. But this one is a game about space exploration, okay? This one is a very team-heavy style game. So there's a bunch of different planets that come with Unsettled. There's 2 planets that come in the base box. You can have a bunch of additional planets, but the way this works is you and your team are going to visit this planet, and each planet is different in the way the mechanics the planet works and how you're trying to go about discovering that planet. You are going to have basically some objectives that you're trying to complete. So there's what's unique is there's a lot of different objectives that goes on with this particular planet, and so there'll be a deck of like objective A, objective B, objective C, right? And within each of those objectives are going to be about, I would say, 4 to 6 different cards that are going to ask you to do certain things in sequential order. And so you're trying to complete these objectives while trying to survive the harsh environment of the planet that you are going to. I really enjoy this one from a space, it's a space theme. We don't have a lot of space themes, so this is kind of my space themed style game. Now, the reason why this one has dropped so much on my list, 10 spots, is just because, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very team style game, right? You could play this solo, but the interaction amongst the different players around the board is what really, really makes this one so great. And so there's been a lot of games that have come into the collection that we really enjoy at that 2-player count. And this one is kind of a beast and heavy to get to the table and does take quite a bit. You know, it kind of has that, I don't want to say campaign style feel, but this is going to be a longer, heavier game. And so that can be pretty taxing sometimes. This is published by Orange Nebula Games. I forgot to mention that as well. But all in all, I still very much enjoy Unsettled. I found this really awesome insert on Etsy for this one. So I have all 8 planets in this core box, which really makes the travel for this one easy. And the shelf space goes down a whole lot with this one as well. But my 21st favorite board game in our collection collection is going to be Unsettled. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sticking around to another list. We got 2 videos left. We are taking a look at my top 20 games over the next 2 days. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit that notification bell, drop down in the comments below. Do you guys own any of these games and what do you think about them? And last but not least, if you guys are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. All right, guys. Have a great one. Bye.